From tragic accidents to horrific killings, the deaths of these beloved actors proved that there's nothing in the entertainment world so tragic as the loss of a child star. Cameron Boyce found fame as a young star on the Disney Channel. In addition to featuring on shows such as Jessie, he led the channel's ultra-successful Descendants franchise as Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil. Boyce reprised the character in 2 sequels. While promoting Descendants 3, Boyce mused that his character had gone on quite the journey. He said, "The old adage is, don't judge a book by its cover. Let someone really be who they are, and it's a cool thing that we tell." Boyce was found unresponsive on July 6, 2019 at only 20 years old, before the release of the final Descendants film. He had epilepsy and he suffered a fatal seizure in his sleep. In an essay for Good Morning America, his mother drew attention to sudden unexpected death and epilepsy, the medical name given to that final seizure. She wrote, "These past 10 months have been life-changing for me in a way that is beyond words. You can't compare it to anything because it is a trauma that is dissimilar to anything in the world. It has created a gaping hole that is raw and gut-wrenching." Boyce's Disney Channel castmates paid tribute to him too. During a Jessie cast reunion hosted by Stars in the House, co-star Peyton List talked about her friendship with Boyce.
He made me such a better person. He would teach me, he was younger than me, and he would teach me something every day.
River Phoenix was only 23 when he collapsed outside famed West Hollywood nightclub The Viper Room. He had long enjoyed a reputation as a hugely popular child star thanks to stellar performances in films such as Stand By Me. He also played the young version of Indiana Jones at the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, perfectly mimicking Harrison Ford's charismatic performance.
That cross is an important artifact. It belongs in a museum.
As Phoenix grew up, he found critical acclaim in films like My Own Private Idaho. Unfortunately, his career was cut short in 1993 by what turned out to be a drug overdose. A spokesman for the coroner told the Los Angeles Times that Phoenix had been killed by a combination of cocaine and morphine. While he was alive, River had supported his younger brother's plans to follow in his footsteps. Speaking to Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes, Joaquin Phoenix explained that the Phoenix family mostly didn't concern themselves with the trappings of Hollywood fame. Still, River had big plans for Joaquin's career. He showed his little brother Raging Bull and told him that someday Joaquin would have the bigger career of the two of them. Joaquin recalled, "Through my brother and his understanding and appreciation of that kind of acting, I think it awakened something in me." At first, fans might have best known Aaron Carter as Backstreet Boys member Nick Carter's little brother. Pretty quickly, though, Aaron amassed a fan base all his own thanks to catchy singles such as Aaron's Party, Come Get It, I Want Candy, and That's How I Beat Shaq. Teen stardom followed. He was even rumored to have been the cause of Lindsay Lohan and Hilary Duff's tumultuous relationship in the mid-2000s. As Aaron grew up, however, his young adulthood became dogged by negative headlines. In 2012, Aaron and Nick were rocked by the loss of their sister, Leslie Carter. Aaron was also in and out of rehab at the time, evidently struggling with alcohol and drug addictions.
Do you feel like you're an addict?
Of course I'm an addict.
Yeah.
I don't have to feel like it, I am.
A representative told Us Weekly in 2017, he is grateful for the support and love from his fans and looks forward to coming back stronger than ever before. Then, in 2019, Carter accused various members of his family of having abused him as a child in a series of troubling tweets. He wrote, "Since my truth is all out there, and I hope all survivors of assault or rape find peace and justice." In 2022, Carter died at the age of 34 from drowning after falling asleep in a bathtub while under the influence of drugs. Nick shared a post on Instagram after Aaron's death, writing, "My heart is broken. Even though my brother and I have had a complicated relationship, my love for him has never ever faded." Jonathan Brandis played the young Bill Denbrough in the original It miniseries. He went on to star in movies as Neverending Story 2, The Next Chapter, and was in the main cast of NBC's Sequest DSV. Brandis was the kind of child star whose face featured on countless Teen Beat posters, sparking fierce crushes from young people everywhere in the 1990s. He once reflected, "I never perceived myself like this, a teen magazine kid. As an actor, you just hope to continue working. Then when you start getting mail, I sure never knew it was coming. It's not something you prepare for." In 2003, Brandis died by suicide. He was just 27 years old. His death touched the fans who followed his career. In an email to the News Times, one fan wrote, "He is the only thing that was good about my childhood, and now I feel like my childhood has been shattered." Meanwhile, Punky Brewster star Soleil Moon Frye told People magazine that she'd come across old voicemails from her friend. She said, "Some of them were 10 minutes long, his innermost thoughts. It just made me cry listening to them. He was a real friend." In the classic horror film Poltergeist, Heather O'Rourke played Carol Ann Freeling, a little girl who learns to communicate with the beyond thanks to some supernatural television static.
They're here.
Dominique Dunne played Dana, Carol Ann's older sister. Mere months after the movie was released, Dunne was killed by her boyfriend. In Poltergeist 2, Carol Ann comes face to face with a creepy preacher named Cain, played by Julian Beck. He died shortly after that film's release. So began the rumors of a so-called poltergeist curse, which was further exacerbated by speculation that actual skeletons had been used in filming rather than props. Unfortunately, this speculation only intensified when O'Rourke died later that decade. In 1988, when she was just 12 years old, O'Rourke collapsed and was hospitalized for a cardiac arrest. She was found to have had a bowel obstruction and unfortunately died due to the condition. It was believed that she had a congenital intestinal issue, but the true nature of her illness wasn't discovered until it was too late. Decades after her death, co-star Craig T. Nelson had nothing but fond memories of O'Rourke to share with Vanity Fair. He said, "Heather was just a sweetheart and shy and beautiful. She was just this wonderful little girl, and she was perfect for the role, perfect for just who she was in her innocence." The classic sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond followed the family adventures of a hapless father. Ray Romano played the Barone family patriarch opposite Patricia Heaton, while Doris Roberts was his meddling mother who lived in the neighborhood. The Barone family had several kids, including a set of twins who were played by Sawyer and Sullivan Sweeten. In 2015, the Sweeten twins' sister, Madeline, released a statement to Variety revealing that one of her brothers had died. It read, "We are devastated to report that our beloved brother, son, and friend, Sawyer Sweeten, took his own life. He was weeks away from his 20th birthday." Elizabeth Jeannie, Sweeten's mother, went on Larry King Now in the wake of her loss and decried the media coverage of her son's death. The entertainment press had picked up the story quickly, meaning extended family members learned about Sawyer's death from the internet rather than from her.
It made it very difficult because, we got out of the Hollywood scene. We moved out of that. It wasn't a part of our life anymore.
Discovered in the early 1990s, Brad Renfro was given a prominent role in The Client, a John Grisham legal thriller opposite Tommy Lee Jones. He had an impressive run throughout the rest of the decade, including playing Huckleberry Finn in Disney's Tom and Huck alongside fellow child star Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Before long, he had become one of the most promising up-and-coming actors of his generation. Unfortunately, as he grew up, Renfro dealt with addiction issues. He ended up on Skid Row in Los Angeles in 2005 when LAPD officers rounded up a number of people looking to buy drugs. The Los Angeles Times reported that he was booked into jail at the time. A few years later, in 2008, Renfro died at the age of 25. Craig Harvey, the Los Angeles County Coroner's chief investigator, told People magazine that Renfro had been drinking the previous night. Renfro was later determined to have died from a heroin overdose. Judith Barsi racked up an impressive filmography at a young age, appearing in projects from Jaws: The Revenge to Cheers. She also moved into voice acting, playing Anne-Marie in All Dogs Go to Heaven and voicing Ducky, the little green dinosaur in The Land Before Time.
My name's Littlefoot. Mine is Ducky. Yep, that is what it is. Yep.
In 1988, before All Dogs Go to Heaven had even been released, Barsi was tragically killed by her father. She was 10 years old. According to the Los Angeles Times, Joseph Barsi killed his wife and daughter before burning down their house while he was still inside. Don Bluth, the filmmaker behind The Land Before Time and All Dogs Go to Heaven, told Meridian magazine that her death rattled the animators who were working on her final film. He said, "We couldn't listen to the voice. Everybody would start tearing up, so it stopped everything for a while." Child actor Skye McCole Bartusiak appeared in an impressive run of films in the late 1990s and early 2000s, showing up in such hits as The Cider House Rules, Riding in Cars with Boys, and The Patriot. She considered the latter her favorite role into her teenage years when she told The Right Stuff that the cast had felt like a family, thanks to the film's long shooting schedule. Bartusiak explained, "Remember that whole Papa scene? We did that the last day of shooting, so it was easy to get emotional. I knew we'd all be separating soon." As Bartusiak grew up, she managed to make the transition into teenage roles, starring in the aughts hits like Boogeyman. Unfortunately, the world never got a chance to see the actor that she could have developed into. In 2014, she died at only 21 years old. Her mother described her as a kind and really beautiful girl who had lived such an amazing life. Bartusiak's parents told the outlet that Bartusiak experienced epileptic seizures, but it was later determined that she had died from an accidental overdose. Corey Haim was often paired with fellow child star Corey Feldman in the 1980s, including in films such as The Lost Boys and License to Drive. Together, they were known as the Two Coreys, which also happened to be the title of the reality show about their adult lives that was produced in the 2000s. The reality show was a raw, unflinching look at child stardom, and in one episode, Haim revealed that the Coreys had both been abused as children. Feldman was furious that Haim discussed that information on television, however, telling GQ, "That was one of those things that we discussed not bringing up. You know how there's one thing that your friend's got against you that he could use as blackmail at any time? That was the one thing." And it seems that Haim's troubled early fame followed him into adulthood. On the show, he was open about his lifelong struggle with addiction and his mental health. In 2010, Haim died at 38 from pneumonia. Feldman wrote a piece for Entertainment Weekly in the wake of his friend's death, and he tied Haim's untimely passing to the difficulties they experienced as children in the industry. He said, "When we both fell into drugs, I initially was the one with the more intense problem. I went through my recovery, but he decided he didn't want to grow up. I understood why. We'd never had the chance to live our childhoods." If you or someone you know needs help with mental health, please contact the Crisis Text Line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI 6264 or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website.